I'm Teddy Daniels. I'm a cop.
You're the marshal.
That's right. Would you mind taking your hand from behind your back, please?
Why? Why?
I want to make sure that what you're holding won't hurt me.
I'm going to keep this. If you don't mind.
Fine by me. Rachel Solando. The real one. Did you kill your children?
I never had children. I was never married. And before I was a patient at Ashcliff, I worked here.
You were a nurse?
I was a doctor, Marshal. You think I'm crazy?
No, I know.
And if I say I'm not crazy? Well, that hardly helps, does it? That's the Kafka's genius of it. People tell the world you're crazy. And all your protests to the contrary just confirm what they're saying.
I'm not following you. I'm sorry.
Once you're declared insane, then anything you do is called part of that insanity. Reasonable protests or denial. Valid fears. Paranoia.
Survival instincts are defense mechanisms.
You're smarter than you look, Marshal. That's probably not a good thing.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
I started asking about these large shipments of sodium amytal and opium-based hallucinogens.
Psychotropic drugs.
I asked about the surgeries, too. You ever heard of a transorbital lobotomy? They zap the patient with electroshock, then go through the eye with an ice pick. Pull out some nerve fibers. Makes the patients much more obedient. Tractable. It's barbaric. Unconscionable. Do you know how pain enters the body, Marshal? Do you?
Depends on where you're hurt.
No. It has nothing to do with the flesh. The brain controls pain. The brain controls fear, empathy, sleep, hunger, anger, everything. What if you could control it?
The brain?
Recreate a man so he doesn't feel pain or love or sympathy. A man who can't be interrogated because he has no memories to confess.
You can never take away all a man's memories. Never.
Marshal.
Do you have a special birthday message for Guy?
In your son's situation, I would recommend that we go with medication. We can start him off with ease. Side effects include mania, aggression, hostility, psychosis, homicidal ideation. At least 8 of the recent school shooters have taken these. Let's see. We've got Springfield, Oregon school shooting, the Red Lake, Minnesota school murders, and, Columbine massacre. But it's really up to you.
classmates hostage. Describe around that time how you were feeling.
In the morning, I didn't feel like going to school. I felt sick. Didn't feel like really, like I could get up very well. And so I went back to bed. And next thing I remember, I'm in juvie in the detention center where I used to live.
The North Koreans used American POWs during their brainwashing experiments. They turned soldiers into traitors. That's what they're doing here. They're creating ghosts to go out in the world and do things sane men never would.
To have that kind of ability, that kind of knowledge, that would take years.
Years of research. Hundreds of patients to experiment on. 50 years from now, people will look back and say, here, this place is where it all began. The Nazis used the Jews, Soviets used prisoners in their own gulags, and we tested patients on Shutter Island.
No, they won't. No.
You do understand that they can't let you leave.
I am a federal marshal. They can't stop me.
There was an esteemed psychiatrist from a respected family. Didn't matter. Let me ask you, any past traumas in your life?
Yes. Why would that matter?
Because they're going to point to some event in your past and say it's the reason you lost your sanity. So that when they commit you here, your friends and colleagues will say, of course he cracked. Who wouldn't after what he'd been through?
They can say that about anyone.
Well, I heard that he was decapitated, and when I heard that, I couldn't stand it. I just cried,
This Texas woman is reacting to a gruesome murder over the weekend involving an infant and a mother. Police are now saying that a San Antonio woman accused of beheading her 3.5-week-old infant also partially cannibalized him. Police believe 33-year-old Adi Sanchez used a knife and 2 swords to kill the child. They think she then ate part of the boy's brain and bit off 3 of his toes.
The baby had obviously been decapitated, so the baby had already died from his injuries. The baby was found in one of the rooms. The baby had exchanged hands. Somebody had taken the baby from the suspect and had called 911.
A relative says Sanchez has a history of mental illness. Police said the woman claims the devil told her to kill the boy.
Anyone at all.
The point is, they're going to say it about you. How's your head?
My head?
Any funny dreams lately? Trouble sleeping? Headaches?
I am prone to migraines, yes.
Jesus. You haven't taken any pills, have you? I mean, even aspirin.
The aspirin.
Jesus. And you ate the food in the cafeteria and drank the coffee they gave you. You tell me at least that you've been smoking your own cigarettes.
No. No, I haven't.
It takes 36 to 48 hours for neuroleptic narcotics to reach workable levels in the bloodstream. Palsy comes first. First the fingertips, then eventually the whole hand. Seen any walking nightmares lately, Marshall?
Tell me what goes on in that lighthouse.
Brain surgery. Now let's open the skull and see what happens if we pull on this kind. They learned it from the Nazis, kind.
The first to arrive at this place was an 18-year-old American GI by the name of Hugh Carey, who later became governor in New York State. And he said when they arrived, what they discovered lying at their feet was thousands and thousands and thousands of dead bodies. And come to find out, 25,000 of the 40,000 slaves at this place perished at the hands of the Nazis. Well, you know, immediately after the war, the U.S. and the Allies created the Nuremberg trials, at which time we brought the Nazis to justice for their crimes against humanity. But 1,500 of the top Nazis never went to trial. They were smuggled into the United States by the U.S. military under a program called Operation Paperclip, smuggled in through Boston and West Palm Beach, Florida. And Wernher von Braun and his rocket team, 100 of them, along with 100 copies of the V-2 rocket, were sent to Huntsville, Alabama, where von Braun became the first director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. What's interesting is the other 1,400 Nazis. Who were they? Well, some of them were brought to the United States to work for the CIA. Others were brought to the United States to do the LSD drug experiments and the MK Ultra mind experiments during the 1960s, where people were drunk.
Oh, why don't you just make some more of the serum yourself?
Because Lisa won't tell me what flower it's from.
Excuse me. My name is Walter Hottenhofer, and I'm in the pharmaceutical business.
Yeah, I was wondering when that guy was going to state his name and occupation.
Quiet. Sir, has your daughter found a drug that renders old people tolerable to us normals?
Yeah, but Lisa won't tell me how to make it.
Lisa is irrelevant.
You better elaborate.
All I need is 1 drop of extract, and I can synthesize the drug at my plant. But where do I find that drop? 9, 9, 9, 9. Aha!
Not so fast, Fritz. Before you waltz off with my grandpa grease, I want to know, what did you do during the war?
World War II? I wasn't born yet.
Funny how many Germans say that these days.